What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pete's Carport. Thanks again for joining me on another video. Today we're going to be playing around with the SC300. This is kind of a preliminary to the plasti dip that we're going to be doing. Now, I decided to record this video because I'm taking the front bumper off. I've got to totally prep that. I'm going to be doing either a custom front headlight with the current ones that we have, taking them apart and painting the inside black, or going with a whole different style. But in the meantime, I need to get this front bumper off, and I wanted to document all of the things that I'm doing so I don't lose track of it when I go to put this back on, whether it's a couple of days, a week, or 2 months down the road, because I have so many projects going on. That does happen from time to time. And in the past, I've misplaced nuts, bolts, and then had to go back and try to figure out how to put these things on. So what I'm doing right now is organizing the type of bolts. So up underneath the fender wells and underneath the bumper are these style bolts, which have a Phillips head. And let me show you where those kind of go. So right along here, you've got some that come along here. Now, that is necessary to take off. You might even want to take off the whole liner, jack the car up. It would be a lot easier to get into here. And there's two, these are all 10mm bolts. There's going to be two more bolts that look identical to this on nut post that are going to connect your headlight, and those are located right here. So those are going to be, your back of your headlight has posts that slide through here that are little nut posts or bolt posts, and those will come off. And then you have one more up here that's going to be able to pull your headlight assembly out. Necessary to do that to get the rest of this front bumper off. What I've already done is taken off all the ones that connect to the bumper and the liner, and then all along here. Now mine are, a lot of them are missing because this bumper had some damage, and they zip tied it because a lot of the plastic pieces were broken where they connect, so I didn't have to take off as many as you might. But just be sure to take off all of those lower ones that connect to the under tray in order to get this front bumper off. Next that I'm going to do, since I got this out, is there's clips along here. Now this is the main thing I want to document because I want to see how everything goes back in. So you're going to have them along both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a flathead screwdriver and pop those out and come back and show you the next step. Okay guys, so these clips are a really crappy design. They have this center piece that slides in and expands like most of the clips out there. I thought I'd be able to get it with a screwdriver, but you actually need to use some pliers, but then you sometimes run into the problem of this top piece actually breaking because it's only like a really soft rubbery plastic piece. Yep, see, I broke that one there. But even if you break that part off, you're able to grab that plastic part and it pulls up, and then the rest could pull out. Sometimes it'll stay in there. Just wanted to fill you in. I've got several of them out, and a couple of them I got out really without damaging them. Obviously, you can go replace these, pretty inexpensive. Almost every auto parts store, Advance Auto has, or AutoZone actually, has a huge section on different clips. But I'm going to be able to go ahead and use these. They're salvageable, and if not, I can even run bolts down through there. Alright guys, so I just want to fill you in on that. I'm going to get the rest out and set up the next step. Okay guys, so after I took off these clips, I realized that there were two more nuts that were attached to bolts that are attached to your bumper frame here that go right along the fender line right there. Now you can access those very easily by pulling or taking off the entire tire liner. I jacked the car up a little bit just to have more access, and they're 10mm on the inside there. Now you can obviously do that when you take out the lights and then move to underneath the light clips, but just wanted to fill you in. I'm doing this as I go, as a documentary for me to be able to put the bumper back on, as well as help for you guys in taking the bumper off. Now, I've already made a couple mistakes. I took this bolt out, which I'm about to put back in, thinking that this whole assembly was attached. Obviously, this is just the fender here, and I thought I had to get to these bolts because I thought that that was attached on the inside, but wasn't. It's a lot easier than I thought originally. Wanted to fill you guys in. I'm going to get to those two bolts on this side, which are going to be right there and right there, and my bumper should drop down at that point. So I'm going to fill you guys in. Okay, so now I've got those off. There's one last thing that I did not see, and there's going to be up underneath your liner here are Phillips head screws. Now you can't, I tried to get to them underneath with the bolts, but you cannot get to them. So you just need to pull up your gasket liner, and you'll see. Now mine are pretty rusted, so they're a little hard to get out, so I'm going to spray them down. But you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think 5 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total. Yep, on the end there. So that should be it. And then our bumpers should definitely pull forward. Now, once again, I made the mistake of removing this, thinking that this whole assembly would come off, but that didn't do it. I had to go back and look, and I was trying to find it, and I saw that there was something up underneath that liner. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew those. They're just Phillips head, and then we'll pull our bumper forward. Okay, of course, one more thing. So there are a ton of bolts, some clips that you need to take out, and some Phillips head screws. So the last thing that I was missing really was just a simple thing, the bolt that's holding your fog lights on. Now, I thought the fog light assembly would stay attached, and I went to pull it forward, and it just wouldn't go right about that middle point. And so the best thing you can do is lightly pull and see where it's snagging at, and kind of move around. And I noticed that the lights weren't coming out, weren't staying, and nothing was coming forward around the lights. So that plastic was kind of just staying there. So I went ahead and pulled that off, and pulled the lights out and wiggled it, and the bumper came forward. So really, that's it, guys. I mean, there's a lot to it. Take your time. Please ask questions down below if you have any. I really did this as a documentation for me to take this apart. I did a bunch of things that were unnecessary. I even took off clips that are holding in that plastic thing because I thought those clips were going up into the bumper frame. Once again, another unnecessary thing, but hopefully this helped you guys out. It wasn't as difficult as it should have been, but I couldn't find any really good instructions online. I know there were some videos out there, but none that really walked you through it in the way that I like to see. So now that I've got this bumper off, I'm going to let you guys know I'm going to be doing the BFI kit that you can find on eBay, and I'll leave a link in the next video so you guys can pick that up. I am not turboing this car. I want it to be a naturally aspirated, daily driving, 5-speed. I love to have a lot of different cars. If you're not a fan, or if you're not subscribed to my channel, hopefully you're a fan. I've got lots of different types of cars, ranging from a 63 Austin Healey Sprite. I am a huge Mercedes connoisseur, so I've got this S500 here, which is a 95, that S600 V12, which is a 96. I just picked up that Range Rover out there, and I've got 2 other Benz at my house. And so right now I'm trying to, I also have a BMW that my wife daily drives. So right now I'm trying to get a daily driving 5-speed, something that I can drive a couple times a week when I'm doing non-traffic driving type days. So I'm going to go ahead, I've got headers and exhaust I'm going to be adding to this, and doing the BFI intake, and hopefully gaining about 25-30 horsepower just for that little bit of oomph on the road, but nothing crazy. This is not going to be a high horsepower build. We do have another one on our channel, Xavier, my partner, picked up, that we're most likely doing a 1JZ swap and trying to get much more horsepower out of. So stay tuned, guys. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't yet, there's a lot of 2JZ, 1JZ, SC300 content coming forward, but hopefully this helps somebody out there. Have a great day, guys.